Welcome to It's English Podcast, where English feels easy, calm, and natural.
Okay, real talk. Have you ever, rehearsed a sentence in English perfectly in your head, and then the moment you open your mouth, nothing. Just air. You're just standing there like a goldfish, just blinking.
Oh my God, Brian, yes. Yes, every single time.
Right? Like your brain just completely logs out. Poof, gone.
It's like it's like Wi-Fi. Strong signal when you're alone in your room. You open your mouth in public and suddenly no connection.
No connection. Searching for network. That is exactly what it feels like.
And you know what? That feeling, that freeze, it's what we are talking about today. The fear of speaking English.
The snapping my fingers, pointing at the camera, the big one. The thing that, honestly, I think holds back more people than bad grammar ever could.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this right now and you've ever felt that freeze, that panic, that, oh no, everyone is looking at me feeling, this episode is literally made for you.
Warmly leading toward camera. So welcome to It's English Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Mary, and today we are going deep, like really deep, into why this fear exists, what it actually does to you, and more importantly, how you break through it.
Rubbing my hands together eagerly, let's go.
So, Brian, let's start at the beginning, because I think a lot of people, they think the fear of speaking English is about language, like I don't know enough words, but I don't think that's actually what it is.
Immediately jumping in, pointing, no, it's not. It's not about language at all. It's about judgment. It's the fear of being judged.
Snapping fingers, yes, exactly that. It's social fear wearing a language costume.
Language costume. I love that. Can I steal that?
Go ahead. But seriously, think about it. You're not scared of English. You're scared of what people will think of you when you speak English.
Right. And honestly, that's a really heavy thing to carry, because every time you want to speak, there's this little voice in your head that goes, what if I make a mistake? What if they laugh? What if my accent is too strong?
And that voice is brutal.
It really is. And here's the thing. I had that voice for a long time.
Wait, really? You?
Yes, me. I mean, people see me now and think, oh, Brian's so confident, blah, blah, blah. But when I was first really trying to use English, not just study it, but actually use it with real people, I was terrified.
Okay, tell me more. What would happen?
So, I remember one time I was at this international conference, and there were people from all over the world, and someone asked me a question in English, a simple question like, where are you from? And I blanked. I completely blanked.
No.
I know. Where are you from? I know the answer to that. I've known the answer my whole life. But in that moment, my brain just shut down, and I just kind of smiled and nodded like an idiot.
You smiled and nodded?
I smiled and nodded like a bobblehead.
Oh, that is painfully relatable, because that smile and nod is a universal language learner move.
It is the move. Everyone does it.
Nudging, shifting tones slightly. But see, and this is important, that moment doesn't mean you can't speak English. It means you were overwhelmed, and that's a really different thing.
Oh, that's such a good distinction, because people go home after moments like that and they think, I'm just bad at English. But that's not the real problem.
Right. The real problem is that you were so focused on performing perfectly that your brain literally froze up. It's like, when you have too many tabs open on your computer?
Oh, every day of my life.
And then the whole thing just slows down and crashes. That's what's happening in your brain when you try to speak and monitor yourself and worry about judgment all at the same time.
Nodding intensely. Too many tabs. That is the perfect metaphor. Too many tabs.
Thoughtful, choosing words carefully. And there's actually a really good word for this feeling, this internal block, this thing that stops you from just speaking freely. It's called inhibition.
Perking up, turning to camera. Oh, inhibition. That's a great one for our listeners. Let's pause on that for a second.
Smiling, nodding. Yeah, let's do it.
Clearly, directly to camera. So the word is inhibition. Inhibition. Say it with me. Inhibition. It means a feeling of self-consciousness or embarrassment that stops you from behaving or speaking naturally, like an internal break.
Adding on. So, for example, you might say, my inhibitions disappeared once I had a real conversation with a native speaker and realized they didn't care about my mistakes.
Nodding, giving another example. Or, she has a lot of inhibitions about speaking in public, but once she's with close friends, she's completely fluent.
To the camera. So, inhibition, that inner voice, that inner break that stops you from flowing naturally. We all have it to some degree.
Pointing, the goal isn't to eliminate it completely, it's to turn the volume down, way, way down.
Snapping back into the conversation. Exactly. And okay, so how does that happen? Because I feel like a lot of people think the answer is just practice more, like practice until you're perfect and then you won't be scared anymore.
Immediately shaking his head. No. That's the trap. That's actually the trap that keeps people stuck forever.
Eyes wide, say more, because I've heard this so many times. Just practice.
Leaning in, passionate. Right, so here's the thing. Waiting until you're ready, until you feel confident enough to speak, is like waiting until you can swim perfectly before you get in the pool. It doesn't work like that.
Laughing. You have to get in the pool first.
Pointing emphatically, you have to get in the pool first. The confidence comes from the speaking, not before it. And this is something so many learners get backwards.
Nodding vigorously. And I think, honestly, this is one of the biggest mindset shifts that has to happen. You have to stop thinking, I'll speak when I'm ready, and start thinking, I'll get ready by speaking.
And this is where people get, how do I say this? They get complacent. You know, they study in a very safe environment, and then they never push themselves to actually use it.
Oh, complacent. Brian, that's such a good word. Let's highlight that one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Complacent. Complacent. It means feeling so satisfied and comfortable with how things are that you stop trying to improve or take risks. You're comfortable, but maybe too comfortable.
Like, he became complacent with his English because he only used it in situations where he already felt safe.
Or you might say, don't be complacent just because you can write in English. Speaking is a completely different muscle.
And that muscle, the speaking muscle, it only grows when you use it under pressure, even a little pressure.
Even a little. And I think this is so key because a lot of people think pressure is the enemy, but some pressure is actually the thing that forces growth.
It's like going to the gym, right? If you only ever lift the weights you're comfortable with, you don't get stronger.
You just maintain your current level forever.
Exactly. I go to the gym 4 times a week. Oh, are you getting stronger? No, I'm very comfortable.
I'm very comfortable. That's the language learner who only watches English TV with subtitles and calls it studying.
Hey, no shade. We've all done it.
Guilty. Absolutely guilty.
But okay, so we've established that you have to actually do the scary thing. You have to speak. But how? Like, what do you actually do when your throat closes up and your mind goes blank?
Yes, the practical side. Because I feel like we can talk about mindset all day, but people need like real tools.
Real tools, concrete things.
So one thing that I always tell people is reframe what a mistake is. Like completely reframe it.
Where do you mean?
Okay, so right now, most language learners think a mistake is a failure. It's evidence that you're bad at English. It's embarrassing. It's something to avoid at all costs.
Which then makes every conversation feel like a test.
Exactly. And when conversation feels like a test, you freeze. But what if a mistake was just data, just information?
Information. Like, oh, I said that wrong. Interesting. Filed.
Yes, exactly like that. No drama, no shame spiral, just noted, moving on.
That is actually a really powerful shift, because shame is the thing that makes you want to stop speaking altogether.
Shame is the killer. Shame is the thing that keeps people silent for years.
And you know what's interesting? The people who are really good at English, the ones who seem so articulate, so confident, most of them made a ton of mistakes to get there.
Oh, articulate. Listeners, write that one down.
Yeah, articulate. 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 It means able to express thoughts and feelings clearly and effectively in words. When someone is articulate, they communicate with precision and fluency.
So you might say, she's so articulate in English, she always finds exactly the right word.
Or, he wasn't always this articulate. He spent years stumbling and practicing before things clicked.
And that is the key. Being articulate is a result. It's not where you start.
It's the destination, not the starting point. Nobody is born articulate in a second language.
Okay, so reframing mistakes, that's one tool. What's another one? Because I feel like there's also something really important about the environment you practice in.
Yes. The environment is huge because you can't just throw someone into the deep end and expect them to swim. Well, some people, yes, but most people need a kind of safe zone first.
A place where the stakes feel low.
Right. And this is where, like language exchange apps, English conversation groups, even just talking to a friend who also speaks English, all of that matters so much because you're building the muscle in a low-pressure setting before you use it in a high-pressure one.
And honestly, even talking to yourself counts, like narrating what you're doing in English. Okay, I'm making coffee. I'm pouring the water. The coffee smells amazing.
Okay, you do this?
I did this all the time. My roommate thought I was losing my mind.
Your roommate is walking past the kitchen and you're just going, I am now adding the milk.
The milk is cold. The cup is warm. Yes, exactly.
Okay, but honestly, that is genuinely useful because you're getting your mouth used to shaping English sounds without any pressure.
And I think at the end of the day, what separates the people who break through this fear and the people who stay stuck, it comes down to perseverance.
Perseverance. Such a powerful word.
Perseverance. It means continued effort and determination to do something despite difficulty, failure, or opposition. You keep going even when it's hard.
It was his perseverance, showing up to every conversation class even when he felt terrible, that finally made the difference.
Or, learning to speak a new language takes real perseverance. There will be bad days. The key is not quitting on those days.
And honestly, that's the thing. The people who become fluent speakers, they're not always the most talented. They're the most persistent.
Always. Every time.
Okay, so let me ask you something, because I know our listeners are in all different stages, right? Some of them are total beginners. Some of them have been studying for years but still can't bring themselves to speak. And I want to talk about that second group specifically.
The intermediate freeze.
Yes, the intermediate freeze, because this is almost more frustrating, right? Because you've put in all this work, you understand a lot, you can read, you can write, but the moment you have to open your mouth,
everything falls apart.
And you feel like, what is wrong with me? I know this stuff. Why can't I just say it?
And the reason, and this is so important, the reason is that speaking is a completely separate skill from understanding. Like, your brain processes listening and reading in a very different way than it produces speech.
Right. It's not one skill. It's like understanding English and speaking English are like two different athletes. You might have a really strong understanding athlete and a very weak speaking athlete.
I love that analogy. So you have to train the speaking athlete specifically.
You can't just train by watching the sport. You have to actually play.
And here's the thing about actually speaking. It requires vulnerability, and I think that's why so many people avoid it.
Vulnerability. Yeah, that's the real scary thing, isn't it?
Vulnerability. It means the quality of being open to emotional risk, being willing to be seen, potentially judged, even hurt in order to connect with others. It means showing up even when you're not sure how it'll go.
Speaking English in public for the first time took real vulnerability, but it was the moment everything changed for me.
Or, true fluency requires vulnerability. You have to be willing to sound imperfect before you sound great.
And I think this is the thing. We live in a world where looking perfect online is everything, and that makes vulnerability feel even scarier because people are terrified of being caught not knowing something.
Exactly. But here's the beautiful irony. The people who are willing to look imperfect, they're the ones who grow the fastest because they're getting real feedback, real experience, real conversation.
While everyone else is at home perfecting sentences they're never going to say to anyone.
Exactly. Perfectly silent.
Okay, so we've talked about the why, we've talked about the mindset, we've talked about some tools, but now I want to get into something that I think is genuinely life-changing, because there's this one specific technique, and I learned about it kind of by accident, and when I tell you it completely rewired how I think about speaking English under pressure.
Oh, wait, is this the thing you told me about before we started recording?
Yes, that. So basically, okay, so the story starts when I was living in this tiny little town in the South, right? And I spoke maybe 30 words of the local language. 30! And my English at the time was okay, it was functional, but I was not confident. And I had to go to this government office to sort out some paperwork.
Oh no, I already know where this is going.
Oh, yes. And the woman behind the desk, lovely woman, very professional, she looks at me and she goes, in perfect English, "Can you explain your situation?" And I heard the words, I understood the words, and then I said,
What did you say?
I said, and I quote, "Yes, I am here for the paper."
I am here for the paper, Brian.
I am here for the paper, like some kind of confused robot. And she just stared at me, very patiently, very kindly, and she went, "Which paper?"
Which paper? Oh my God.
But here's the thing, and this is the part that actually changed everything for me. She didn't laugh at me. She didn't make me feel stupid. She just waited. And then she asked a simpler question, and I answered that. And slowly, the conversation started to work.
And that's the moment, right? That's the moment where you realize, oh, people are actually on my side.
People are actually on your side, and that is the technique. Or, well, the mindset shift that is the technique. Because I had been walking into every English conversation assuming people were waiting for me to fail. And that assumption, that was the thing destroying me.
Because when you assume hostility, you tense up. And when you tense up, you literally cannot access your language.
Your brain goes into survival mode, and survival mode is not great for grammar.
Survival mode does not care about your subjunctive tense.
It does not. Survival mode is like, are we dying? No? Then I'm logging off.
Okay, so let's get really practical here, because I think what our listeners need right now is, okay, great, mindset matters, but what do I actually do tomorrow morning to start breaking through this fear?
Yes, let's get concrete, real steps.
So step one, and this sounds almost too simple, but start with zero stakes English every single day.
Curious. Define zero stakes for people.
Zero stakes means nobody's judging you. Nobody cares. There's no consequence if you mess up. So that could be talking to yourself, like we said earlier, but it could also be ordering your coffee in English if you're in an English-speaking environment, commenting on an English YouTube video, leaving a voice note in English to a friend who is also learning.
Or even, and I love this one, setting your phone to English. Because then you're reading English constantly. Your brain starts thinking in English naturally.
Yes, such a small change, such a big impact. Because immersion doesn't have to mean moving to another country. You can create a little English bubble in your own life.
Your own little English ecosystem.
Oh, and actually, the word I just used, immerse, or the noun form, immersion. Brian, let's talk about that one.
Great one. Immerse. To immerse yourself in something means to become completely involved in it, to surround yourself with it so completely that it becomes your environment. Like jumping into a pool, you're fully in it.
So you might say, she immersed herself in English media, podcasts, films, books, and within a year, her fluency was unrecognizable.
Or you don't need to live abroad to immerse yourself in English. With the internet, you can build an immersive environment wherever you are.
And immersion works because it stops your brain from constantly translating. After a while, you just start to think in the language.
Which is honestly one of the most surreal and amazing moments in language learning. The first time you dream in another language?
Oh, when that happened to me, I woke up and I was like, wait.
You can't even believe it's happening.
I literally sat up in bed like something supernatural had occurred.
Okay, so zero stakes practice, immersion, what's the next step?
Find your person or your people. You need at least one person, one with whom you have a standing commitment to speak English.
An accountability partner, someone who isn't going to let you off the hook.
Exactly, because here's what happens without that. You have every intention of practicing, right? But then life gets busy, or you have a bad day, or you just don't feel like it, and you skip it, and then you skip it again, and before you know it,
3 months have gone by and your speaking is exactly where it was.
exactly where it was. But if you have someone waiting for you, someone who texts you, hey, we're talking tonight, right? Suddenly it's a lot harder to bail.
The power of mild social obligation.
Mild social obligation is underrated as a learning tool.
And that word, accountability, it's such a key concept here. Like you need to build accountability into your English practice.
Oh yes, let's get that one. Accountability. Accountability means taking responsibility for your own actions and being answerable to others for them. When you're accountable, you follow through, not just because you want to, but because someone else is counting on you.
Having an English conversation partner creates accountability. You can't just cancel because you don't feel confident today.
She built accountability into her learning by posting a 60-second English video every week. The comments kept her going.
And honestly, posting videos is huge because the fear of speaking privately is one thing, but putting your voice out there publicly?
Takes it to a whole new level of courage and growth.
But again, the people who do it, they improve so much faster than the people who are quietly, perfectly studying alone.
You know what I want to address, though? Because I feel like we keep saying, just speak, just do it, just be brave. And I don't want people to feel like we're dismissing how genuinely scary it is.
That's a really fair point, Mary, because the fear is real. It's not imaginary.
It is real. And for some people, especially people who had experiences where they were laughed at or corrected harshly or made to feel stupid in a class, the fear is really deep. It has roots.
Yeah, that kind of thing leaves a mark.
A teacher who humiliated you in front of the class, a classmate who laughed at your pronunciation, even a well-meaning family member who, every time you tried to speak, corrected every single mistake.
The constant corrector. That might be one of the most damaging things for a language learner.
I agree strongly, because when every mistake gets flagged immediately, you stop taking risks. You only say what you're sure about, and your language just shrinks.
You shrink yourself to fit into what feels safe.
And so rebuilding that confidence after those experiences requires something really special. It requires resilience.
Resilience. Such an important word. Resilience means the ability to recover quickly from difficult situations, to bounce back from setbacks, failures, or experiences that knock you down. It's not about never falling. It's about how fast you get back up.
Learning to speak English publicly after years of being laughed at took real resilience, but every conversation made her a little stronger.
The most fluent speakers I know aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the most resilient. They just kept going.
And resilience, like any muscle, it grows. Every time you do the scary thing and it doesn't kill you, and it won't kill you, your resilience grows a little.
You build evidence, real evidence, that you can do this.
Yes, evidence. Because fear runs on assumptions. People will laugh, I'll embarrass myself, I'll freeze. But every conversation where those things don't happen, that's data that disproves the fear.
You're literally rewriting the story your brain tells about speaking English.
Okay, can I share one more super practical thing? Because there's this technique that I genuinely swear by. It's called, and I heard a language coach talk about this, it's called the 5-second launch.
Ooh, tell me.
So the idea is when you have an opportunity to speak English and you feel the fear starting to creep in, you don't give it time to build. You count down in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you open your mouth before your brain can talk you out of it.
You launch before the fear can veto you.
Before the fear can veto you, exactly. Because here's what happens. The anxiety about speaking is almost always worse than the actual speaking. The anticipation is the killer.
The anticipation. Oh my goodness, this is so true. You spend 20 minutes dreading a conversation that takes 3 minutes and goes perfectly fine.
And then you feel so good afterwards.
You feel amazing afterwards. Like, why was I scared of that?
And then the next time, the fear's a tiny bit smaller, and the time after that, smaller again.
It's like every time you do it, you're lowering your fear threshold.
Oh, threshold. Great word.
Threshold. A threshold is the point or level at which something begins to happen, the minimum point required to trigger a response. So your fear threshold is the point at which fear kicks in and stops you.
First example. The more he practiced, the lower his threshold for anxiety became. Situations that used to terrify him felt completely manageable.
Second example, she crossed a major threshold the day she gave a presentation in English and realized her fear of speaking had almost disappeared.
And that threshold moment, when you cross it, is so hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. But it's like suddenly the thing that felt impossible just doesn't anymore.
It's genuinely one of the best feelings because you worked for it. You earned it.
Okay, and one more thing I want to touch on before we get to the recap, because I don't think we've talked about this enough, the role of listening. Because people always focus on speaking, but your speaking can only be as rich as your listening.
Oh, this is huge because the vocabulary you produce can only come from vocabulary you've absorbed.
Right. You can't say words you've never heard. And more than that, when you listen to natural English a lot, your brain starts to pick up the rhythm, the music of the language.
The music, that's such a good way to put it. Because English has a rhythm. There are stressed syllables, reduced sounds, connected words. And when you absorb that through listening, your speaking starts to sound so much more natural.
Even before you fully understand all the grammar rules, the ear leads and the mouth follows.
The ear leads and the mouth follows. That should be on a poster.
Haha, merch, immediately. And this is actually the process of truly internalizing a language, not just memorizing it, internalizing it.
Internalize. To internalize something means to make it a natural, automatic part of yourself, to absorb it so deeply that it becomes instinct rather than something you have to consciously think about.
First example, once you've internalized English grammar, you stop thinking about rules and just speak the way a native speaker does.
Second example, she internalized the rhythm of English by listening to podcasts for an hour every day for 6 months. Her speaking transformed.
And internalization is what separates someone who knows English from someone who speaks English, because knowing is in your head, speaking is in your body.
In your body, your mouth muscles, your breath control, your instincts, all of it has to become automatic.
And that is the journey, and it is absolutely worth it.
And when it happens, when all that work suddenly clicks, that's when people have their breakthrough moment.
Breakthrough. A breakthrough is a sudden, dramatic moment of success or achievement after a period of effort or difficulty. It's the moment everything changes, when you go from struggling to suddenly flowing.
Her breakthrough came during a job interview. She answered every question in English without a single freeze. She couldn't believe it was her.
Breakthroughs in language learning don't happen overnight. They happen after 100 small, uncomfortable moments of practice.
And that's the thing, breakthroughs feel sudden, but they're actually the result of all those invisible moments of courage adding up.
All those moments when you were scared and you did it anyway.
Every single one of them counts.
Okay, all right, let's bring it home. Rapid fire recap. You ready?
Ready, let's go.
Number 1, the fear of speaking English is not about language, it's about the fear of judgment. Say it with me.
Fear of judgment, not fear of English.
Number 2, waiting until you're ready to speak keeps you stuck forever. Confidence comes from speaking, not before it.
You don't get ready and then speak. You speak and that makes you ready.
Rapid. Number 3, a mistake is not a failure, it is data. File it, move on, no drama.
No shame spirals, no shutting down, just noted, filed, next.
Pointing. Number 4, your inhibitions lower with exposure, not avoidance. Every time you do the scary thing, it gets a little less scary.
Every single time. The only way out is through.
Speed increasing. Number 5, find your accountability partner. One person, standing commitment, no bailing.
Adding, mild social obligation is a legitimate learning strategy. Embrace it.
Number 6, immerse yourself. English in your phone, your music, your podcasts.
Build an English ecosystem around you. You don't have to move countries, you just have to be intentional.
Slowing slightly for impact. Number 7, listen more than you think you need to. The ear leads, the mouth follows.
Rich listening creates rich speaking. Feed your ear well.
And number 8, your breakthrough is coming. It is on its way, but it's being built right now in every uncomfortable conversation, every stumbled sentence, every time you opened your mouth, even though your heart was pounding.
All of it counts. None of it is wasted. Every single bit of it is building toward the moment when English just flows.
And that moment, so worth it.
Okay, we're wrapping up today's episode. And honestly, I love this conversation so much because this topic is so close to my heart.
Mine too, because, so many people out there are so capable, so intelligent, so interesting, and they have things to say in English, but the fear keeps them quiet.
And the world is missing out on their voice, and they are missing out on connections, opportunities, experiences, all because of a fear that is absolutely 100% breakable.
Breakable, completely breakable.
So, if this episode spoke to you today, and I hope it did, we want to hear from you, because here is our question for the comments this week.
Leaning forward, direct to camera. What is the moment, the specific situation where your fear of speaking English is the strongest? Is it job interviews? Is it phone calls? Is it meeting new people at a party? Is it ordering food in a restaurant?
Tell us exactly where you freeze, because number 1, it helps us make better content for you. And number 2, I promise you, you will scroll through those comments and realize you are so not alone.
Someone else is frozen in the same exact spot as you. And that shared experience, that's the beginning of courage.
So drop your answer below. We read every single comment. Every single one.
Pointing at camera. And if this episode gave you something, a new word, a new mindset, one tool you're going to try this week, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button.
Enthusiastically, because we are here every week bringing you real, honest, useful English content. No fluff, no boring grammar drills, just conversation that actually helps.
Grinning, like this one.
Like this one. We're very humble about it.
Very humble. Okay, for me, Brian.
And for me, Mary, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You showed up, you listened, and that, honestly, is already a small act of courage.
Sincerely, final beat. Keep going. Keep speaking, even when it's imperfect, especially when it's imperfect. We'll see you in the next one.
Waving, smiling. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.